Yep. Good morning, everyone. So yesterday I given you overview on what are the topics we are going to discuss in this full stack web development. So we detailedly discussed about what are the course contents and all. So you joined into the Google Classroom, right? So you will get all the course content there, right? You can see the detailed course content, what is inside it. Now, from today, we will start understanding the technology and work with it practically. So first, for that, you have to know what is web, because we are learning full stack web development, right? So this is a full stack web development. So for that, first you need to understand what is web and how this web works. Means you should know first what is web development, then you can understand what does full stack web development means. In order to understand what is web, from before knowing about web, you have to come from the basics of first you need to know network. I hope everybody knows what is a computer network. Computer network is nothing but, what is a computer network? A computer network comprises of group of computers connecting with each other for sharing of information and resources. For sharing of information and resources. I hope everyone know this. A computer network means group of computers connecting with each other for sharing of information and resources. We can share information and resources. Resources means you can even share printers, you can even share scanners, any hard drives. Resources means physical devices also. That means you have a printer and you have 10 computers. Every computer doesn't need a printer. All can be connected to a network and they can print, right? So network, computer network, group of computers connecting with each other for sharing information and resources. And I hope you already know types of networks. You already know types of networks. Computer networks are classified into three types: LAN, MAN, and WAN. You heard these, na? LAN stands for local area network. Local area network. And MAN is metropolitan area network. Metropolitan area network. WAN is wide area network. Based on range and capacity, the networks are classified into several types. Local area network you will see in an office, in a private. They are connected with each other computers. Metropolitan area network can connect cities. Wide area network across the world, right? And you also know about internet. Internet is nothing but it is a wide area network. It is a wide area network connecting computers all over the world. It is a wide area network connecting computers all over the world. Internet is a wide area network. But actually, we have another concept called web. Web and internet are different. Generally, the concept of web and internet are different. Actually, web is nothing but it is a portion of internet with restricted access. Web is a portion of internet with restricted access. There is difference between internet and web. Actually, I will show you the point here. See. So we have, suppose we have some here combination here. Yeah. We have some countries, like some countries, regions. We have, suppose we have US, you have UK, and you have India. We have India. Now, all are connected with each other. They can share information between each other. This is actually called internet. But very important is US have its own web, India have its own web, UK have its own web. So web is a portion of internet with restricted access. For example, suppose who controls that web in their country, their government will control. Obviously, their government will control. For example, suppose I will give one simple example, like suppose we have YouTube, and few years back, 1-2 years back, some BBC channel, they made a documentary on some Indian acts, some criminal acts in India. They made a documentary, and our Indian government have objection on that documentary. They uploaded that on YouTube BBC channel. Now, all over world, everybody can watch it, but in India, you cannot. That means you open YouTube in India, go to that YouTube channel, select that video. It shows a message. This is not for your country. That means this video cannot be streamed in your country. I thought that internet means I can watch anything from anywhere, right? Internet means we think that we can watch anything from anywhere. There is no restriction. There is a restriction. So that restriction is web. So you are using web. So you are using internet. In internet, you are restricted with the web. Web is a portion of internet with restricted access. That means one web can restrict another web. One web can restrict another web. I hope you people know Facebook, YouTube, like things are not there in China. You know, Chinese people don't have access to such things. They have their own social networking. That means they don't have access. That means their government restrict them from using others. Similarly, our government can restrict. We have certain rules. They have to function according to rules. Suppose Facebook, so Facebook or YouTube, anybody, they have to function as per our government rules. It's not like anything they can post. For example, suppose some elections will commence from next month. Then our government orders Facebook that any activity related to elections on Facebook posts, you have to take down immediately. Otherwise, we will ban you. That means anybody is posting related to anything related, provoking somebody else, then immediately Facebook takes down that post. Right? That means the point is you are using internet, but internet you are using web. Web have a restriction. For example, you see Google Maps. You know Google Maps. On Google Maps, you search for ISRO. You search for Rashtrapati Bhavan, Parliament of India. You will not get their location correctly. You will not get them on Google Maps. You will not get their location. And I hope you already know that Google Maps, we can watch street view, 3D view in US, UK and other countries, but not allowed in India. In India, only up to a range of few meters above the level, that picture only allowed. We have restrictions. So you are using internet, but with a lot of restrictions. That is what actually we call as web. So we are not developing internet applications. We are developing web. What is meant by web application? A web application can restrict user. Understood? A web application can restrict user. A web application can tell who, what he can watch. Who is he, what he can watch. From here, from where he is accessing, what we can make him available. You are from India, so only this content is for you. You are from US, only this content for you. We can restrict. So that is what actually the point about web application. So web is a portion of internet with restricted access. Actually, Tim Berners-Lee introduced the concept of web in early 1990s. In early 1990s, Tim Berners-Lee introduced the concept called web. Tim Berners-Lee, we call him father of web, and he is the person who introduced HTML. HTML is a language developed for web, designed by Tim Berners-Lee. We call him father of web. He introduced the concept of web. That means restricting internet. So web is a portion of internet. And who developed it? Who introduced the concept? Tim Berners-Lee. And now the web standards are maintained by web standards. Web standards are maintained. Web standards are maintained by W3C and WG. These two people are maintaining web standards. Web standards are maintained by these two groups, W3C. W3C is World Wide Web Consortium. World Wide Web Consortium. And what WG is? Web Hypertext Application Technology Work Group. These two people are maintaining web. That means the new features of web, the new languages of web, the new rules about web, the new securities about web, all are managed by these people. That is the reason web have versions also. Now, the recent version of web is 3. Web 3 is the latest version. Web 3 is the latest version which we are using actually. So versions I will tell you later. No need to worry about that. Web have several versions. Version by version, every web have improved in security, improved in restrictions, improved in so many features. So web is regularly changing and web is regularly improving. And who is doing it? These two people are doing it. W3 and what WG. What WG? Tim Berners-Lee introduced not only web, he introduced HTML also. And what WG? These are the people who are maintaining web as well as HTML also. HTML is maintained, HTML is developed by this group, what WG. These people maintain the HTML language. So you see, these are the official website, w3.org. w3.org, this is official W3 site. You can get all the information about latest web, what happening on web, what are the latest features, everything you will get from here. This is W3.org, W3.org. This is official W3. Another one is what WG, what WG.org. This is what WG. This is the community who are maintaining and evolving HTML from 2004. So that means now whatever HTML you are using actually developed by Tim Berners-Lee in 1990. Later, so many improvements happened. Now currently these people are maintaining what WG, right? This is the community for HTML. So web and internet, we have a lot of difference. Now I hope you understood. If anyone asks like what is web application, understood? What is web application? Web application is nothing but it runs on internet but have restricted access, understood? So you are going to be called as a web developer. You are learning full stack web development. So without knowing the meaning of web, you cannot call yourself as web developer. That will be like joke, right? That is the reason basically first you should know what is web, right? And then you can call yourself as a web developer, right? So web design is nothing but building applications for web which runs on internet. So in this, lot of things are there, we will discuss website, web application, lot of points are there, we will see. Initially, that is web application. Now the question is, here you need to understand another point is, so web architecture, how this web application works. So web application architecture, how this web application actually works. So we need to know the web application architecture. Let's see the web application architecture, then you will understand what is your role and responsibility in this. So web application architecture, how actually web application works. Web application works. Let's see one simple point. For that, you need to understand one important concept. For example, we will take example of any website like Google, right? We will take example of Google or Facebook or somebody, right? One example we will see for Google. Suppose on Google you are searching for, yeah, yeah, let's take here Google here. So when we see this Google, suppose on Google you are searching for, this is Google. In Google you are searching for HTML something, some results came. Now the question is, Google is delivering you some data. From where all this data is coming? From where all this data is coming? From where this information is coming? Actually, you have to understand this web architecture. Actually, Google maintains, generally Google maintains a, yeah, Google maintains a data center. Google maintains a data center. We call it as data center. Google maintains a data center. Google maintains data center. Data centers are very huge. Data centers are very huge. So actually, I will show you. Suppose let's check YouTube. And here we will search for Google data center, right? Google data center. and some results came here. Yeah, I will show you here a simple one. You see, this is the video I am showing you. You can see this is Google data center. This is Google data center. You can see that building, right? That is not Google office, that is Google's computer. That is not office, that is computer. That is called server. Server is like a farm. That means some, you can see some acres of land occupied. That is computer you are watching. It's not Google office, it's Google's data center. It is computer, very huge. And these data centers are very huge data centers. These people are inside data center and working. They are sitting in a computer and working. These are Google data centers. You can see internally the Google data center. You can see internal picture. Yeah, this is all the Google data center. That is the server computer. Internally, it looks like this. This is all Google data center inside. That's very huge. And usually Facebook, Microsoft, Google, all these people's data centers are in Dublin, Ireland. Majority of all data centers are in Ireland, Dublin, because see, this is computer. And you know, computers generate large amount of heat. And Dublin, Ireland is one area where in complete year same temperature is maintained. So cool temperature for servers. That is the reason majority, Twitter, Facebook, Microsoft, everybody's data centers are in Dublin, Ireland. Several data centers are undersea data centers to resist the heat. Microsoft, Google's several data centers are kept undersea also. Right? They are very huge. Data centers are very huge. It is a computer. Data center is a computer. Now, in this data center, actually, they store all the data required. Whatever data is required, it is present inside this data center. For that, actually, they use some softwares. We call them as database softwares. By using database softwares, data is stored inside the data center. That means database softwares, there are so many database softwares. There are various database softwares. Like we have database softwares like Oracle, like MySQL, like SQL Server, like MongoDB. So many are there. These are all databases. So whatever data is required for application, that data is kept in a computer. That is called data center. In that computer, data is maintained in a software, and that software is called as database. Okay, now this data you have to watch on your devices, on your mobile or a PC. This is user. User, or we call user, or we call as client. This is user or client. Now we have to access this. We have to access the data and watch the data. Now, how the data is provided to you, how the data is given to you. You cannot directly access the data. You cannot directly access the data. For that, what you have to do is, so you need, there will be another mediator. So this is we call as data center, and this is application center. We have an application center. Application center is also a computer, huge computer. It is also just like data centers, you have application centers. In this application center, actually, we design an application. That means there will be a software design. And this application, we design an application here. We design an application. In application center, our application is present. Application is a software. This software comprises of lot of logic. It contains all the logic. And this logic is responsible for communicating. It is responsible for communicating with the database in the data center, get the data from the database. It will get the data from the database and use it. That means who is responsible for communicating with the data present in database in a data center? That is managed by application. So application center hosts the application and it is responsible for communicating with database. And this application usually communicates by using various softwares. It communicates by using various softwares like JSP, like PHP, like ASP.NET, like Node.js. All these are data server side. These are the technologies. So for example, like Express, all these are used for communicating with the database. They are responsible for communicating with the database, connecting with the data centers, fetching the data. And very important, these application centers are present in different regions. Google's application center is in California, US. Its data center is in Dublin, Ireland. And its Asian server is in China. You are watching in India. That means data have to travel long through undersea network, not just Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is not possible. Wireless satellite is not completely possible. Data have to transfer through undersea subsea networks. I hope you have a general knowledge that 40%, 30 to 25 to 30% of subsea networks of entire world internet is managed by TCS company, Tata. Entire world. That is very great that our Indian company is managing almost 25-30% of internet. Undersea internet cables, everything is managed by TCS. They are stakeholders on that. So the point is data have to transport along. That is the reason technicians, people who are aware of technology, they don't complain on the speed of internet. Illiterates only complain. Technology illiterates who don't know what is internet, how internet works, they always complain about the speed of internet. Right? That means if you are complaining about speed of internet, that it is very slowly loading, not working, that means you don't have proper knowledge on this. Because if it is continuously so slow, it is continuously loading low, then it is problem. But at certain stages, it is slow, not working, and you are complaining that it is not working today, that is not great knowledge. That means every technician knows how much work have to be done in the background. He don't complain on this. He can wait. He will wait. He will wait. So we will try later, 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later, or 1 hour later. But we will not keep on hitting it and disturbing or wasting our time. Right? Technically, there is a huge network. Now imagine if data have to come from some another geolocation, and here we have to access. It's very complex, right? So database where data is stored, data center, and application center where application is stored, which is responsible for communicating with the data. Okay. Now, how this data comes to us? How this data comes to the client? How it comes to the client? Actually, this application manages another one. So this is having another server. This we call as on web. This is called as web server. We call this as web server. This is called as web server, or we call this as HTTP server. HTTP server. Web server or HTTP server. This is web server or HTTP server. Actually, these two are a part of one concept. These are two server only. These are two server side only. These are two server side only. These are together. So generally what happens is, when you make a request from client side, you make a request what you want. That means you will make a request from your computer. You will make a request from your computer. This request will come to this HTTP server. This server is responsible for managing your request. It will verify whatever you requested is correct or not. I hope you know, when you are requesting some wrong things, it will show a message that not found, right? Not found, server not responding, right? Disconnected. All such things are managed by this web server. Remember, I am giving you high level design. That means very outline. Once you start learning the technology, you will learn inside how it works. That means inside HTTP server, how it works. What is a HTTP server? What is HTTP? All these you will learn detail. As of now, when you make a request, this request will come. How we make a request? Usually we make a request from a browser. Am I right? From a browser. From a browser, we are making a request. When you make the request comes to HTTP server. This HTTP server will send your request to the application. Application will process that request, and if necessary, communicates with database, gets the data from the database. After that, it will send the data to the client. That means it gets the data from the database and it sends back the data as a response to the client. That means it sends as a response to the client. As a response to the client. This is the basic web architecture. That means you made a request, it will send a response. Now, how the data comes? How the data comes? Actually, this data is sent to client in the form of XML, extensible markup language, or in the form of JSON, JavaScript object notation. Data is sent in the form of XML and JSON. This XML JSON is not understandable to general people. Then what we have to do is, we have to get this data, JSON and XML. We have to present in a proper way. We have to present in a proper way so that user can understand. For that, we use HTML, we use CSS, we use Bootstrap, we use JavaScript, we use jQuery, all these in the front end. We use additionally some new technologies also, like we use Angular, we use like React, we use like Vue. All these are used in the front end. This is in the client level. That means whatever data comes, it is not understandable to general people. We have to translate this, present this in a proper way so that they can easily understand. I will show you one real environment actually. Suppose we have a school or college. In a school or college, some example, some science subject is there. And in that, science teacher have to explain the students about some Mars, planets, space. Now, to make students easily understandable, he wants to show some videos and pictures of Mars. From where he will get it? That means you Google, you will get a lot of photos and videos related to Mars, which are 100% fake. 100% fake, because who went to Mars to take photos and videos? Only NASA does. Am I right? Only NASA does. So who can provide us correct data about space? NASA can provide, and NASA provides. NASA provides some data for general public. They have a website. You see, This is a NASA website, api.nasa.gov. This is NASA API website. NASA APIs. It is official NASA API website. This is official NASA API website. APIs application interface. Right now you see, I will browse APIs. Browse APIs. Lot of APIs are there. Asteroids, Earth, exoplanet, Mars rover photos. I will select this Mars rover photos. You see, they provide an URL. See, these are queries. You select this URL, they will provide the data of entire Mars. This is the data which is we call JSON. This is in a JSON format. You will learn this in JavaScript. This is in a JSON format. Who can understand this? Right? Who can understand this? General people, it's not for general people. Nobody can understand this. Right? Now, what is our responsibility is consume this data, whatever data comes from here. And actually from where this data is coming, NASA have their own data centers, understood? NASA have their own data centers. There is very less possibility that you can know which database they are using. Impossible. You can't know which database they are using, which server side technologies they are using. Impossible. It's very, very rare. Lot of hacking is required to know it. Of course, hackers can do it. Even NASA websites also hacked. Right? So many times NASA website hacked. So many times. Right? The point is that it is very difficult to know what database they are using, what server side technology they are using, but the data is given by them. Now, what is responsibility of developer? The responsibility of developer is to get the data and present it. For example, I will show you. We have to write some logic. I'm just showing you that our developers will write some logic. Let's see, our developers will write some logic here. I will show you a predefined logic. So 1 second. One second, please wait, online people. Okay, so yeah, let's continue. So here I'm showing you a sample example here, right? Yes. Right. I'll take you one simple example. This is JavaScript examples. Yeah. In this, some NASA APIs. Yeah. You see here, I'm just showing you this you will do in JavaScript. We are writing some logic to fetch the data from this location. You see, this is the location what they provided. Huh? That is the location what they provided. We write logic for fetching the data. And you see, we create a presentation. So that presentation looks like this. It contains all the details coming from that website and showing. That means you see the photo ID is 102693. That is 102693. So we are writing a logic to present in this way. You can present in various ways. Here just it is using a tabular format. It is using a tabular format. So technically the point here is how we present the data that is coming from the backend. This is the basic process. Now in this, what are the options now? I hope you understood an overview. Data is present in data center. So can we access data directly? No. That is managed by application. Application communicates with the database, gets the data from the database. And this application gets the request from client. So who will manage that request? HTTP server. This HTTP server will process the request, communicates with the application, gets the data and sends the data as response. But whatever response comes, it should be in an understandable way. So we need to present in a clean, understandable format and provide good interactions. Remember, not only presenting is our job, we need to provide interactions. Not only presenting is our job, interactions. For example, in this example, we are presenting the data. In this example, we are presenting the data this way. I want interactions. Interactions like I want to get only the photos taken by a camera called some front hazard camera. Because there are rare cameras, front cameras. I want photos taken from only front camera. I want photos only taken by the rover Curiosity. There are 2-3 rovers. I want only photos from that rover. That means we need to design filters. You need to put a drop down and say, select which rover you want. You need to ask type what you want. Based on that, we have to search and filter and display. This is how actually the presentation happens. So only presenting is not the concept. We have to present with a good, effective interface. For that, we use HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, JavaScript, jQuery, Angular, React like technologies. So now in this entire, this is the basic web architecture. In this, 3 main portions are there. What are those 3 main portions? We have client, we have application, and we have data. We have 3 main portions here. So the client, the application, and data. So that means your web application, what is the web application architecture? This diagram I will upload. So web architecture into Google Classroom, I will upload. You can get it, right? So here the point is in the web architecture, it comprises of 3 options. One is client, another one is application center. Am I right? Another one is data center. Data center. That means now application is running in 3 locations. One location data, another application, another you are using. We call this as, so web applications. Web applications are three-tier applications. They are three-tier applications. In computer technologies, we have one tier, we have two tier, we have three tier. Earlier, we used to have n tier, that now n tier is just three tier. Right? What is meant by one tier, two tier, three tier applications? Later, you will detailedly learn in various concepts, but as of now, overview I will give you. For example, suppose, for example, here we have a computer. We have a computer. On this computer, we have an application. We have an application on this computer. And we are using this application. We are using this application on the same computer. We are accessing and using that application on same computer. Your application is in the same location where you are using. Then this kind of architecture is called one tier. Understood? That means you have an application on your device and you are using from the device. That means how many machines are there here? Only one machine. That is one tier. For example, you have MS Office. You install MS Office on your computer. You are accessing from the same computer. That is one tier. Two tier means what happens is this application is maintained in a separate location. This is maintained in another computer. It may be application, or sometimes what happens is, suppose I will give you a point here, like suppose we have data. We have data. Data is maintained in a separate computer, and we directly access the data and use the data from another computer. Data is in one computer and we are accessing and using in another. This is what two tier. But in case of web, client is not here. Understood? In case of web, client is not here. Client is somewhere outside. And he have to connect with application by using another server called HTTP server, web server. That means client location is separate, application location is separate, data location is separate. That means application is running on how many tiers? Three tiers. So three-tier application means you have client, you have application, you have database. That is what actually client application. That is the client application. So web applications are what kind of applications? Three-tier application. There is another concept. Actually, web applications are built in three layers. Web application runs in three tiers. Web application is built in three layers. Even at experience level, in interviews, many times they ask this question: what is difference between layer and tier? So at experience level also they ask this question, because sometimes when people are faking their experience, so generally see, it's very simple. Many times people come and ask, like, I have some education gap, I want to fake my experience and attend interviews. What do you think? Interviewers are such fools that they can't understand your fake experience? You are genius that you can fake your experience and the interviewer don't know. Interviewer have seen lakhs of people like you. And interviewer is interviewing you means he is more genius than you. And what do you think? You can fake him? Not possible. Everybody knows that you are fake. That means just speaking to you 1 minute is enough. We can tell you are fake or not. Right? That is, but generally as per company norms, we want experienced people. We can't take a fresher because that is the company standard. And even interviewer knows that you are a fake person, but you have good skills. He knows that you are fake, but you have good skills. You can manage the work. You can do the work. That means even with fake experience also you can manage. Then he will ask his HR that I don't have any objection in him. You verify his background. If he is okay, we can take him into project because he have good skills, right? Don't think that he don't know about your fake experience. He knows. He knows you fake your experience. That is very easy, right? That means you are faking your experience. Everybody can understand that. Easy. It's very easy. Everybody knows that. But still we are okay with you. We can take you into company because your skills are very good, right? If skills are not good, you are faking your experience. We don't want you, right? That is the reason. So to really know whether he is faking or genuine, we have some questions. We ask those questions, and if he answer the questions, there are two types of answers. If he answered the question in one style, that is fresher, and another style, that is experience. And we know experienced people have different terms. Experienced people have different terms, and if you don't speak those terms, then you can easily expose your fake experience. So that is the reason, to understand the genuine experience, we have some questions like this. In many interviews for experienced people ask, what do you know about 3-tier and 3-layers? What is difference between 3-tier and 3-layer? Applications run in 3 tiers. 3 tiers means your data is in one tier, your application is another tier, and you are using from another tier. This is what 3 tiers. Presentation tier, application tier, and data tier. Application is built in 3 layers actually. Application build. How we build application? We have an application. Usually application is built in 3 layers. We build application in 3 layers. Usually we build application in 3 layers. We have 3 layers. What are these 3 layers? So one layer is called UI layer. Another layer is called business layer. Another layer is called database layer, data layer. So we have UI layer, business layer, data layer. In UI layer, our responsibility is designing interface, designing the user interface. That is UI layer. Business layer, here we write the logic for communicating with the data. Database layer, here we prepare the database. Now the point I will tell you, actually, I told you database tier, am I right? And I told you that database layer. What is difference is, entire database is running. Understood? Entire database is running. In layer, database is designed. Database is designed in layers, in database layer, but it is not running here. It is running in a tier. Applications are built in layers. Applications will run in tiers. I will tell you clear example also. Suppose you are showing 3+ years experience in technology. And in resume, you mentioned that I have done 2 projects. Understood? I have done 2 projects. And then you have to mention what was your role in project 1. That means you cannot say that I have done this project. In project A, you should say that my role was in UI layer. My project is a 3-tier project. Understood? 3-tier project means web application. And my role is in UI layer. That means your application is 3-tier application, but your role will be in only 1 layer. Either it may be UI layer, or it may be business layer, or it may be database. There is no chance that you worked with all the 3 layers. If you say that in your resume, I have done this project, they will simply throw in dustbin that resume, right? What do you think of yourself? You can do entire project, eh? That means entire project you have done. No, your role will be in only in certain phase. That means your role will be in only one layer. Even very small project also, you have to work with one layer, 2 layers on, maybe 2 layers depending on the situation. But majority of high level projects, everybody have to work with only one layer. Either you are in UI layer, either you are in business layer, either you are in database. Now I will tell you the point here. That means suppose you said my role in UI layer, that means what is your responsibility? Our responsibility is building user interface. Understood? Building user interface, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery, that is building interface. Okay, now you say that my role in that project was in business layer. My role is in business layer. That means my role is in writing the logic, like it is Node.js, right? It is like Express, like JS, all this is business layer. My role is in business layer. That means I have done this. And another important, my role is in data layer. Data layer means, so preparing the database, design tables, all this, storing data storing, all this comes under which layer? Data layer. Suppose by mistake you mentioned that my role is in data tier. The responsibility is different. Data tier means database is running. That means taking backup of data, making the data available every time, managing the load balancings, managing the load from the client. All this comes under data tier. We call that as DBA, database administration. That means you are not DBA, you are just a database designer. That means your responsibility is designing database, not maintaining the data, not maintaining the application. Your responsibility building application. So the point is, generally many times people ask, sir, can you give me 5 years interview questions answers, experience interview questions answer? Remember one point, generally in experience level interviews, the interviews will be according to what you have mentioned in your projects. That means you said that I done 2 projects. Okay, good. In that first project is in UI layer. Okay, good. Then my questions will be related to UI layer only. Interviewer will not ask anything else outside what you mentioned in resume. That is not reasonable also. That means I clearly mentioned in my resume that I worked in UI layer. Why you are asking me all other things? Right? Experienced people expect only the questions from what they have mentioned in resume. Anything outside that they will not ask. 100%. That means any interviewer will not waste his time in asking unnecessary questions, because interviewers are software developers in companies. They have a very busy schedule. They have a very busy schedule. They have a lot of work pressure. They are very experienced people. They can't waste time in interviewing people. Usually HR people beg them that, sir, just take 5-10 minutes interview. We have to take this person. He will say that no, today not possible. I have a lot of work. Scheduled tomorrow, scheduled day after tomorrow. So why? Because these people are very busy people. They don't waste time. In that case, they don't waste time in asking all unnecessary things from the person they want to take. If they have a genuine requirement, they want to take people, then what they do? They will immediately ask only what is required for them. If he can answer, finish. Now, all unnecessary time waste, time pass interview questions will happen in campus interviews. These people don't have any work. Company sends them and says that go do some time pass, right? And they come to various colleges and institutes. They stay in hotels. So 2-3 days they spend vacation. They want to time pass. They will do some time pass. They will select out of 100, 2-3 people and say go. Right? Genuinely company needs a person. That means they ask them to come to our company. So directly our developer will ask exactly what we need, because we have an immediate requirement and we will immediately place you. We'll put you in job. We will not waste time in interviews if you have a genuine requirement. We will just exactly ask what we need and what the person's skills levels are. Then we will directly take him. We don't waste time. So that is the reason you cannot expect any question other than what you have mentioned in your resume. In your project, you said UI, all questions will be related to UI. You say business, all questions will be related to business layer. You said I worked on database, good. I will ask you questions related to database. After you cleared your interview, you are selected, then project manager will decide according to your skill levels, in which layer you will fit. He will see that, okay, you are good in your UI, then we will put you in UI layer. You are already good with database, then we will put in database layer. But you don't think that you will work with entire project. In a project, you will be working in only one layer. Now, this is what we call as front end and back end. Understood? That means what is front end? Recent, I will show you here. What is the front end? Yeah. This is front end. Front end means what? The front end includes the client side. Understood? The front end includes the client side. It includes the client side. That means only this part is called as front end. Only that part is called as front end. And this entire part is called as back end. Back end. Earlier, people have to be specialized in front end and back end. Now, these days, we want people having experience in both. That is what we call as full stack developers. Understood? That means a full stack web developer means he must able to handle from front end design to back end database. That is what our course is about. Right? Our course is about learning all the technologies which are required from front end design to back end database. And in the back end database, we are going to learn which database? MongoDB. We will have an introduction to MySQL also. Right? And in the server side, we are going to learn Node.js and Express. We are going to learn this HTML, XML, JSON, HTTP servers and all. Various servers are there. We will learn about them. We will learn in the client side. We will learn all these things. Already I told you Angular, React are not a part of this course, right? Only up to JavaScript, jQuery, HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, Sass, less. These are the topics we are going to learn in the front end. So I hope everyone is clear. What is difference between front end and back end? Who is a full stack web developer? Full stack web developer who can manage all layers. Understood? All the layers. What are those layers? Presentation layer, that is UI layer. Business layer. Another one, database. A full stack developer is a person who can manage all three layers. Right? Now, you learned all three layers, but you may not work with all three layers in any project, maximum 100%. You have to work with only few layers, and that will be decided by the project manager according to your skill sets, how you know, what you know. Because remember, after selecting into a software company, interviewer have interviewed, you are selected. After selecting, you are not placed in the project immediately. What they will do is for 1-2 months, they will give you training on the KT. That is, they will give you overview of complete project details. Even you will not able to meet the project manager in MNC level companies. You will not meet the manager up to 2-3 months. After 2-3 months, once your KT is completed, you are delivered with all the details, what project is about, how it works and all. Then after 2-3 months, project manager calls. You will be you will have to make HR will make an appointment with project manager. You have to meet the project manager. Then the project manager will again ask you few things. Based on that, now he will decide. So remember, project manager, after 2-3 months of your working in company, he may get to a conclusion that you are not suitable for this project. He will say that send him out. Understood? That means even you got a job, you worked for 3 months in a company, until you are placed in a project, your job is not guaranteed. Until or unless you are assigned to project. Right? If you are not assigned to project, that means no confidence. That means still yet they are waiting. And once the project manager gets confidence on you, he says that, okay, this person is good. We will put him in this area, in this project, in this area. Then you are permanent. Permanent means based on your work again. Right? Now you can satisfy that, okay, I am in the project. Now I can be free. Until you are placed in project, your job is not guaranteed. That means even after you got the job, you take 2 months, 3 months salary. Project manager is not satisfied. He will say that send him. We don't want him because I'm not satisfied with his skills. Because project manager have to decide where to keep you in the project, in which layer. He sees that you learned full stack, but your skills are very good in the backend database. Then he will put you in database layer, depending on your skills. Right? That means you have to work with any of these layers. Right? This is very important. So we have to start learning from front end. We will start learning from front end technologies. Then we will go into back end. So we are going to first learn which layer? 3 layers. What are those 3 layers? UI layer, another one business layer, another one database layer. Database layer, 3 layers. We have to start with which one? UI layer. In UI layer, we have to start with HTML. This is the first thing we are going to learn. Now, what is HTML? How HTML works, and practically how it is used. This we have to start. That we'll see in tomorrow session. Okay, is it clear? From tomorrow, we will start practical. From tomorrow, we will start practical. I will show you what to install, how to get everything. So, and we can start practically working, designing from tomorrow onwards. Okay, tomorrow I'll continue, right? Yeah. Everyone have classroom code now? If anyone newly added today and don't have the classroom code, you can copy this classroom code and join this classroom code. Google Classroom. This is Google Classroom code. Online people also, if anyone. This is the code. You will get all the notes from here. Okay. Right. So then tomorrow we will continue. Tomorrow we will start with full. Right. And in this classroom already the course content is uploaded. Once see it. The complete detailed course content is uploaded. Detailed topics what we are going to learn here. Right. Whatever mentioned here we are going to learn. Okay. Na? We are going to deal with this. Right. Then tomorrow we will start with HTML. Okay. Right. You can bring, no problem, right? But immediately tomorrow not required. Tomorrow we will learn the setup. You can make a note, you can practice at home, or you can practice here. Offline people, you can bring your laptops, right? You need to connect in internet and download several softwares. So better make a note of them, go home and practice. If you have any doubt, you can bring it, okay? Next, once we start coding and designing, you can bring the laptops. Meanwhile, you can do while we are learning in the class, right? So tomorrow we'll continue, right?